The Common Core should be abolished in the United States. Abraham Lincoln once said, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves." This still holds true today. Our education system is in a state of decline, and the only ones at fault are ourselves. We are letting the government take away our freedoms, given to us by the Constitution. Power-thirsty businessmen are in it for the money, not what's best for us. They are trying to hide the many faults of the Common Core, including the fact that it's never been tested, is extremely expensive, and gives too much power to the government. All in all, the Common Core standards should be eradicated across the United States. To start off, contrary to what people think, the Common Core has never been tested. According to Terrence Moore, the Common Core has never been tried at any school or by any state. The Common Core should have been field tested in different kinds of schools before any state, to say nothing of the whole country, ever adopted it. This is a fundamental flaw. How do we know we aren't hurting our education? Since when do we approve of ideas that have never been tested? The FDA sends food and medicine through many tests for several years, and the drastic change to the education system has had no testing whatsoever. Diana Ravitch states, "The Common Core standards have been adopted in 46 states and the District of Columbia without any field tests. They are being imposed on the children of this nation, despite the fact that no one has any idea how they will affect the students, teachers, or the schools. For all we know, we are deteriorating our education system to a point of no return. The only way to stop this is by abolishing the Common Core once and for all." Additionally, one of the major drawbacks of the Common Core is the fact that it's extremely expensive. This cost isn't just a one-time issue either. Every new teacher needs to be educated, and current teachers are still learning the standards. Brian Farmer stated the cost of implementing Common Core standards and assessments nationwide estimated a price tag of about $16 billion over 7 years. This is significant because schools can't afford to keep the Common Core alive. Think about the small schools with 25 kids in each graduating class. They are barely getting by. It costs $2.2 billion each year. Brian Farmer also explains that most states acted irresponsibly when they adopted the standards because they did not first have a clear understanding of its price tag. Why did they agree? It's a simple answer. They needed the funding the government would provide. Lastly, the Common Core is rotten to the core, discusses how regulations are put in place without the understanding of the taxpayers, the ones funding these ideas. This proves education is becoming more and more about money instead of about what's doing best for this nation. Finally, the United States should do away with the Common Core because it gives too much power to the government by controlling our K-12 education. Washington collects our data from methods of surveillance, and giving them more power is going to continue to corrupt our political system. The authors of the standards can limit the amount of creative thinking schools promote and can require academic administrators to only teach certain topics. The article Rotten to the Core says the biggest concern regarding the implementation of the Common Core standards is the fact that the federal government's ever-increasing role in education. People need to think about this and evaluate the consequences. Finally, our 10th Amendment declares the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. The states are perfectly capable of coming up with standards, and some states have, including Texas, Nebraska, Virginia, and Alaska. The federal government should delegate this to the states because national standards do not align themselves with the Constitution. Ultimately, America should eradicate the Common Core. It's more focused on money and politics than on giving kids the best education possible. It has never been tested, is way too expensive, and gives the government an overwhelming presence in our schools.
My opponent may say that the Common Core is not helpful because of the high cost for tests and curriculum materials. In 2008, schools spent 6 times more on sports than academics. This is important because why can't we spend more on academics and sports if we're spending 6 times more? So if spending should be reduced on academics, then what are we saying? Therefore, Common Core needs to be increased budget in order to academically support our students better. My opponent also may say that the Common Core is not improving test scores, but I disagree. Test scores have gone up significantly since the Common Core standards have been put in place. The point of the Common Core was to help all students get a passing grade, and that has obviously been happening, shown by all of the studies done by national studies. Overall, the Common Core truly is helping students raise their test scores.
When someone brings up the Common Core, chances are that you don't really know what it is. All you know is that it has to do with school, and that school is boring, so the Common Core must be also. America is a rapidly growing country when it comes to our military, economy, and entertainment industries, but it is only fit that our education standards increase as well. With Common Core standards, the future looks brighter, students are connected through learning, and data is more comparable. The Common Core is something that has had a positive impact on our country and can only continue to be positive. In an analysis for the Brown Center report, it was discovered that through 2009 to 2013, the percentage of teachers introducing nonfiction to their students has gone up by 8%. Due to this statement, students are using more facts instead of stories when making statements, and are therefore more susceptible to better colleges, jobs, etc. In our country that has more waitresses, janitors, and cashiers, the Common Core poses an opportunity for a brighter future. In an interview, the Prairie Point Associate Principal, Ryan Reedstrom, states that the intent of the Common Core was to set a bar, and for us to ensure that all students reach that bar. And if the student doesn't know where they are, they don't know where they're going. He knows that the future is being made through the Common Core's promises of clear goals. The bar set will show students exactly where they are going and what needs to be done with where they are right now. The Common Core is something that improves our test scores, our intelligence, and our future. If we fail to see the promises of that, then we fail to see the promises of our educators, pupils, and peers. The Common Core also connects students and lets them learn on the same level. A Prairie Point teacher stated that it's important that students at all schools build the same knowledge base. When students go on to higher education, they should have learned the same content. When students come together in colleges or even jobs, it is necessary that they all learn the same basis of material during school to eliminate any gap in education. Amanda Paulson wrote that, with few exceptions, educators hail them as a big improvement for most states, a chance to give some uniformity to education expectations across the United States and ensure that students graduate from high school with a deeper understanding of subjects, better critical thinking skills, and thorough preparation for college courses. Having these standards makes it so that instead of just having conformity, the students will actually understand what they are being taught and will be able to apply it to later times in life. The evidence clearly shows that the Common Core should never be abolished and in fact expanded upon. When the Common Core came out in 2010, one of its goals was to make sure that every kid was assessed the same way. We believe that the Common Core should stay in schools because data will be more comparable. Valerie Strauss says that standards and learning targets are meant to promote, develop, and use common data standards and efficient data transfer and exchange. If the Common Core is set in place, all states and schools can compare data and rank themselves and understand what they need to improve upon. If teachers know what they can improve upon, that makes the school a better learning environment. The Prairie Point Associate Principal in an exclusive interview said that our students at Prairie Point have excelled when the Common Core standards are put in place. Many test scores are going up. We have a better idea of where we are as a school in the state and nation. The Common Core is helping us in numerous ways. There are two different sides of the classroom. There's the teacher and there are the students. If the teachers are understanding their job, over time students will understand their job and both sides will benefit. If the Common Core stays in place, the data will be more comparable and students' test scores will go up. Overall, while the Common Core may seem quite dull, the truth is that it helps us. The Common Core improves our future, connectivity with peers, and makes data more comparable. No matter what your friends may say about the Common Core, you cannot deny how many benefits it provides.
Opponent may say that it's easier to teach across states and schools because students have the same knowledge base. However, we disagree. There is no way that every teacher interprets the standards the same way, and then, in turn, no way they would teach the standards the same way. As Mr. Reacham stated, a drawback of the Common Core is though everyone interprets it differently. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, there are little more than 3.6 million teachers across the United States. It is impossible to standardize the education with all of these variables. Students will be coming in college with different knowledge bases no matter what you do to the standards. Therefore, the Common Core will not help teach all students across the nation the same thing. My opponent may say that the Common Core works for all students, but we disagree because the Common Core is a race towards a mediocre middle. The standards are designed as a one-size-fits-all, but have you ever tried a one-size-fits-all product? They simply do not work. I was shopping for batting helmets, and I saw a helmet that read one-size-fits-all. So I tried it on. It fell so far forward, I could see the spot where my forehead was supposed to be. Even though the helmet was advertised as a one-size-fits-all, it absolutely did not work. That experience demonstrates how the standards may be too big for some having unattainable goals, or maybe too small, constricting the students and limiting their educational potential. Also, a teacher we interviewed stated, for some students the system works, for some students the system doesn't work. So if you're a student and that the system doesn't work for, is that right that we try to get you to mold into that system? Therefore, the Common Core was designed for one type of student, a student that does what is expected and doesn't think outside of the box. What kind of society is filled with synonymous ways of thinking? My opponent may also say that the Common Core has improved test scores. However, that evidence is invalid. Before the Common Core, you were testing on different things than after the Common Core. You can't compare these things. If you change the test, the results should change too. Therefore, there is no evidence suggesting that the test scores improved.